Hello and welcome to the Piano Man's Library. I am still suffering from this cold flu thing that I've had, so I apologize for still having a scratchy throat and a few sniffles. Um, so I'll try and keep this very quick because I don't know if my voice will stay with me. And if I don't. Okay, so this week, my brain still isn't all there. So I'm haven't really read anything nonfiction since the beginning of this, which is very frustrating. I pick it up and I read some, and it just doesn't stick. So I put it down. But I did finish The Woman at the Wheel, and this is by Penny Ha. This is a historical fiction based on the life of Bertha Benz. She was the wife of Carl Benz, who invented the first motor vehicle. And there wasn't a lot that was known about Bertha. The author did put, a nice section in the back saying where she got her information from and the true facts, and then what portions she gave to her. So I thought it was fairly well done. I would give it just under 4 stars on StoryGraph. I think I give it a 3.75. But on Goodreads, I think I did give it 4, but I don't think it's really a 4. More than a 3, but I wish you could make it a little bit more accurate on Goodreads. But anyway, that's another rant for another day. It was pretty good. It was an enjoyable read for the most part. I did not know anything about Mr. Benz, Herr Benz. They're from Germany. And, so I did learn a fair amount about mostly the troubles that they ran into along the way. It was very hard to find a business partner who didn't want to either take advantage of him or that wanted him for his. He also invented a couple of engines, and they wanted to just sell those because those were good money makers. They knew that they could sell them, but they didn't want him to do anything else. And that was his dream, to build this motor vehicle, the horseless carriage. They called it for a while, and then they realized that was not a good name for it because people were saying that it was of Satan, and anyway, it was very, very interesting. The problem that I had with the book was the author sometimes wrote the dialogue as if they were speaking English as a second language, where they were in Germany speaking with other Germans, they would have just been speaking German. So either write the book in German or write it in English. And, it just, it was just, it got on your nerves a little bit. I mean, I don't mind when my friends from Germany are speaking to me in English. It's as their second language. We know that it's not going to be perfect, and that's fine. They get better as the conversation goes. But it's, or, anyone else who is their second language. But it just seemed a little bit off and, making it a little hard to read. So, at times. So, there was that. The character development was really good for most of the people, but the author gave her a friend that they went on for 14 years or something. They were fabulous friends. And then just out of the blue, they weren't. And I didn't see the usefulness of that in the book. It didn't add anything. It didn't take away anything. It just, seemed kind of pointless to me. Why not just give her a good friend? Yeah, but she was a very strong woman. When she was 10 years old, she wanted to work for her father. She wanted to, because her father had a very good business, and she wanted to work for her father. So she went into his study one day and went on his desk to see what kind of things she would have to write for her father if she was working for him. And she happened on the family Bible, and she opened it up, and she was the third child, the third girl, and her father had written next to her name, "Just another girl." And that affected her a lot during her life. That was something that was true. But she was strong and strong-willed, and she didn't want to marry a man who would just make all her decisions for her. Her oldest sister married someone that she didn't really know very well. And shortly after their marriage, he said, "Okay, we're moving to America." And they had to move to America. And then the second sister, she did get to know her husband a little bit better before she married him. But then they decided to move to America, which to exact where the other sister was. And then the younger, then there was Bertha, and then the next was the first boy. And his dad actually sent him out of the country to America because he was supposed to fight in a war, and he didn't want his heir that he finally had to be killed in the war. So he was off in America. Yeah, there was 8 children in all. They finally had some other boys, but yeah, it was good. It was interesting. They really made her, and I believe she probably was a very strong woman. And her husband was the creative one, the creative genius, artist, as it were, of the family, and she had more business sense from all the time that she did spend with her father at his business. So it was pretty good. I did not mind it, except for the occasional conversation that made it sound that like they were speaking English as a second language when they wouldn't have spoken it at all. Yeah, so I guess there is at one point in the book, she basically steals this car from her home, her husband, and her two older sons drive it across the country, and that is an actual fact, and it is marked on the road that they did do that. So that in itself was very cool. I don't think it would have done as much for their marriage as it seemed to do in the book. But anyway, creative license. So that is the only book that I have finished. I am working on Jane Eyre, and the best that I could do for nonfiction at the moment is I'm working through the letters of P.G. Wodehouse. And this first section that I'm in is just the letters that he wrote to his stepdaughter, whom they had such a fantastic relationship. She, let's see, I think she was 8 years old when he married her mother, and she read all of his works and gave her opinions of them, and he called her Darling Angel Snork, or Darling Precious Angel Snorkels, my poor precious angel. Yeah, they seem to have a lot of fun, and he sounded like a really good father in her life. Yeah, so I'm working through those. Her life ended early, so they just put all of his letters to her at the beginning, and then it goes into his business, mostly business letters and stuff. So, but that I can read 1 or 2 letters at a time, which is all my brain can handle at the moment, and then and work through those. Yeah, so that's what I'm reading. What have you been reading this last week? Have you read any of these books? Do you know anything about the Benz family? It was fascinating, and the real struggles, the things that still happen when you get into business nowadays. There's still a lot there that could be learned from that. So, thank you very much for stopping by, and I hope you are having a great week. Goodbye.